My hands were shaking so badly that I could barely hold the birth certificate. The rain had begun to slow, but inside me, a storm was raging stronger than ever. I stared at Adrian Blackwell, the man I had known for only a few minutes, yet who was now standing before me with a secret capable of destroying everything I thought I knew about my life. "Explain it," I said, my voice trembling. "Right now." The security guards exchanged uneasy glances and quietly stepped back. Even Sophia remained silent. For a moment, Adrian simply looked at me, not like a billionaire, not like a powerful businessman. He looked like a man carrying years of regret. Then he slowly exhaled and lowered his eyes. "I never wanted you to find out this way, Elena." The pain in his voice caught me off guard. "That doesn't answer my question," I snapped. "Is it true?" For several agonizing seconds, the only sound was the distant rumble of thunder. Then he nodded. Just once. My knees nearly gave out beneath me. Every memory of my childhood suddenly felt uncertain. Every story I had been told about my family seemed to crack apart. The man listed as my father, the man whose photograph sat in my living room, wasn't my biological father at all, and the stranger standing in front of me had apparently known that my entire life. Adrian finally began speaking. 26 years ago, before he became one of the richest men in the country, he had fallen deeply in love with my mother, Victoria Sterling. According to him, they had planned a future together, but powerful enemies within his family's business empire viewed their relationship as a threat. Money, inheritance, and control were at stake. Then, shortly before I was born, my mother disappeared. Adrian searched her desperately, but never found her. Months later, he received documents claiming both she and her newborn daughter had died during childbirth overseas. He believed them. For years, he mourned us. Until recently. 6 months ago, he said quietly, "Someone sent me proof that you were alive." My heart pounded. "And instead of telling me, you moved into the mansion next door and watched me?" I demanded. Shame crossed his face. "I needed to be certain. I needed to know you were safe." His answer only fueled my anger. 26 years. 26 years without answers. 26 years of lies. And now this man expected me to understand? Before I could speak again, Sophia suddenly stepped forward. Her face had gone pale. "Adrian," she whispered. He turned. I followed her gaze toward the mansion. Every security guard was suddenly reaching for their radios. Red warning lights began flashing along the property's perimeter. Then an alarm erupted into the night. Loud, urgent, terrifying. One of the guards ran toward Adrian. "Sir, we've got a breach." Adrian's expression instantly changed. "Where?" The guard swallowed hard. "Inside the vault." A cold chill ran through me. Adrian genuinely alarmed for the first time. "That's impossible." But the guard's next words were even worse. Whoever broke in didn't steal money. He hesitated before looking directly at me. They stole Elena's file. The moment the guard mentioned my file, every other question disappeared from my mind. My stolen file, not company secrets, not millions of dollars, not confidential business records. Me. "I want to see it," I said immediately. "Whatever was inside that file, I want to know." Adrian's jaw tightened. For a second, he looked as though he was considering refusing. That alone told me how important the file must have been. The flashing red security lights painted the rain-soaked courtyard in waves of crimson as we hurried toward the mansion. The interior was nothing like I expected. It wasn't merely luxurious, it felt fortified. Security doors, biometric scanners, armed personnel. The deeper we went, the more uneasy I became. Finally, we reached a heavily reinforced room beneath the mansion. The vault door stood partially open. Several security experts were already examining the scene. Adrian walked directly to a large digital screen and entered a code. Moments later, a list of stolen items appeared. There was only one entry: Project ES. My initials, Elena Sterling. A strange feeling settled in my stomach. Whatever this was, it had been important enough to store inside one of the most secure locations in the country. Adrian opened a backup archive stored on a separate encrypted system. Dozens of documents appeared on the screen. Photographs, reports, financial records, private investigations. I stared in disbelief. Someone had been documenting my entire life. School records, university achievements, medical information, addresses, employment history, even photographs taken from a distance over the years. My chest tightened with anger. "You were spying on me." Adrian looked away. "Not at first." That answer made no sense. Before I could challenge him, another document caught my eye. It was labeled Subject Status Inactive Until Age 26. My pulse quickened. "Open it." Adrian hesitated. "Elena, open it." His fingers moved across the keyboard. The document expanded. The first sentence immediately drained the color from my face. "Upon Elena Sterling's 26th birthday, control of the Sterling Trust shall automatically transfer to the rightful heir." I blinked repeatedly, convinced I had misunderstood. "What trust?" I whispered. Sophia, standing silently behind us, suddenly looked shocked as well. Adrian's expression turned grim. "Your mother left something behind." "How much?" I asked. Nobody answered immediately. Finally, Adrian spoke. "More than $6 billion. The room fell silent. $6 billion. The number didn't even feel real. My mind struggled to process it. But then I noticed another line farther down the document, a line that nobody else seemed to want me to read. "Transfer delayed due to unresolved beneficiary status." My eyes narrowed. "What does that mean?" Adrian froze. Before he could answer, every screen inside the vault suddenly flickered. The lights dimmed. Then a face appeared on the central monitor, a masked figure, distorted voice, watching us, watching me. "Hello, Elena," the stranger said calmly. "If you're seeing this, then you're finally asking the right questions. But before Adrian tells you his version of the truth, you deserve to know one thing." The figure paused. My heart pounded violently in my chest. Then came the words that changed everything. "Adrian Blackwell is not the only man who claims to be your father." The masked figure's words echoed through the vault long after the screen went black. For a moment, nobody moved, nobody breathed. I slowly turned toward Adrian, my heart hammering against my ribs. "Explain it." My voice was low, but the anger behind it was unmistakable. "Right now." The billionaire, who had spent years controlling corporations and negotiating billion-dollar deals, suddenly looked trapped. His eyes briefly closed before he ran a hand through his damp hair. "It's complicated, Elena." I laughed bitterly. "No, what's complicated is discovering that my entire life has been a lie in less than 24 hours. The tension in the room became unbearable. Sophia remained silent near the doorway, while the security team pretended not to listen. Adrian stared at the floor for several seconds before finally speaking. "Your mother disappeared before your birth. During that time, she wasn't alone." My stomach tightened. Who was he? Adrian looked directly into my eyes. There was sadness there, but also something else. Fear. His name was Daniel Cross. The name meant absolutely nothing to me, yet Adrian's reaction suggested it should. "Your mother and I were separated briefly. During that period, she met him. We never knew for certain whether you were my daughter or his." My breath caught. "So you don't actually know?" Adrian nodded slowly. "No." I felt as though the ground beneath me had vanished. Every answer uncovered two more questions. If Adrian wasn't certain, then why had he watched me all these years? Why had he protected me? Why had he hidden everything? "Because I loved your mother," he said quietly, as if reading my thoughts. "And because when I finally found you, I realized I didn't care what a DNA test said." For the first time since this nightmare began, I saw genuine emotion break through his carefully controlled exterior. There were tears in his eyes, real tears. But before I could process that, Sophia suddenly stepped forward. "That's not the whole truth." Adrian immediately turned toward her. "Sophia." His warning tone was unmistakable. She ignored it. "Tell her about the night Victoria disappeared." Adrian's expression hardened. "Not now. She deserves to know." The argument between them felt older than this moment, older than me, like a wound that had never healed. My heart raced as I looked from one to the other. Someone was lying, maybe both of them. Then, before another word could be spoken, one of the vault technicians shouted, "Sir!" Everyone turned toward the monitors. Security footage from outside the mansion had suddenly appeared. A black SUV was speeding away from the property, the vehicle that had stolen my file. The camera zoomed in automatically. A clear image of the driver's face filled the screen. The room instantly fell silent. Sophia gasped. Adrian's face went completely pale, and for reasons I couldn't explain, the man on the screen looked strangely familiar. It took me several seconds to understand why. Then I noticed the photograph lying on the desk beside me, the old picture of my mother. The driver had the same eyes, the same jawline, the same features. He looked almost identical to the man Adrian had just named, Daniel Cross, and according to the security timestamp, he had stolen my file less than 10 minutes ago.